Hello.
You ready yet?
Oh.
Is your highness? Is His Highness ready yet? The delicate
I'm
genius.
ready.
The delicate genius.
I'm ready. And the phone rang, and I said I got to do the podcast. And Nick's been laying into you all day, by the way,
Who
which
cares?
we'll get to.
Who cares? Who the fuck's he ever beat?
And he said, "Oh, tell that fat ass we got things to do."
Who's got things to do? He and I? Like throw hands? Like he was talking about earlier?
There was a 30-minute session in the car today.
Uh-huh.
Where he just started laying into you. And he's like, I'll sign a waiver. I'll sign a waiver to fight him. I don't gotta wait till I'm 18. I'll sign a waiver. I'll beat his ass. Yeah. He said I'd send him into early retirement, but his lazy ass is already retired. He was just for no reason. He's in a bad mood today.
Who the
he
fuck
just started
is he?
going on you.
Your son. Okay. How old's your kid?
16.
I swear to God, the second that we are both out of sight and in the same fucking place, I'm gonna crack the shit out of him, and I'm gonna have no idea how that fucking happened. I'm gonna crack his fucking skull open. He's gonna be sitting there bleeding all over himself. He's gonna wonder what just fucking hit me, and who do I cry to about it? And I'm gonna be like, I don't know what happened. I was in the bathroom, man.
He was laying in. He's like, I got 2 sets of boxing gloves. I'll sign a waiver.
Boxing gloves?
I'll take him.
What was with this glove shit? I'll fight the motherfucker. I don't need no gloves. I will fight. I will fight your fucking kid. He's gonna run his mouth off. I'm not gonna wait 2 years to make this fucking legit. I'm gonna fuck up this underage kid. He's gonna fucking have no one to cry to because no one's gonna have seen it, and you're gonna fucking not even give a shit. You're gonna laugh at it because
you know what?
he deserves it.
That you are feuding with a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and like a 3-month-old.
Yeah,
you are feuding with children all over.
Nick is a complete trash dick piece of shit. Your kid is garbage. That kid has no redeeming abilities except the only thing he's got going for him is a stupid hat collection that you bought him. Okay, that's all he's got going for him. He's in a bad mood because you didn't take him to California. You should have gone to New York like you were thinking of going to and gone to the wrestling instead just to rub it in his face. Not only do you not get to see your friends in California, but I'm going to go fuck off in New York and watch wrestling. That's what you should have done because he deserves it. You have created this spoiled little fucking bitch. Your kid is just a spoiled trash dick piece of shit. Like if I have never. This kid is like the fucking photo dictionary definition of white fucking privilege. I have never seen a more spoiled piece of trash than this kid. Your kid's awful. Like Lex is an angel compared to this guy. This is I peel Nick off the bottom of my shoes every day when I go walk the dog. Okay.
Oh my god, this is great. So how you doing today?
Listen, let me tell you something. Nothing has motivated me more to lose a few pounds than to crack this kid in the skull. This is the first thing that's made me want to get off the couch is fucking crack his head open till the white meat shows, okay?
Oh my god, you're literally feuding with the children of the Breakfast
But how did
Club.
I end up feuding with this fucking turd? I don't even.
Where did this even
come from? Where did this come from?
I don't know.
And what's this he with me? You're the fat fuck that's ruining his day all the time.
He's got heat with you. Lex has got heat with you. The baby's got heat with you.
No, I got heat with the baby, okay?
Oh, yeah. Listen, that baby one day is going to get older and go, this fucking Ben Temple's 3 doors down has got heat with me.
Listen,
we got a problem.
The kid's probably going to be as fucking developmentally challenged as Marco is. I don't have to worry about that kid putting a thought together for a few fucking years, all right?
Here we go. Here we go.
And Lex is all right. She just got mad at me because you and I were laughing about that stuttering girl. I mean, funny's funny.
That is how it started.
I can't help that it's fucking funny. I'm sorry. That kind of shit pops me. I'm going to laugh at it. I don't know.
This podcast started off like in a hot direction.
Well, because I'm mad at you, to be honest. You with your... Look, I feel like we start the podcast one of two ways. Where you come in talking about food or me mad at you for fucking jerking me along until we can actually do this thing. We set 5 o'clock. You call me 4 minutes before 5. I'm like, oh, we're going to do this early. And you're like, I need 20 minutes because I'm going to get the dog food. And I'm like thinking, you can't fucking get the food after we do the podcast.
You know what the funny part was,
the
though?
dog's got to have it now. Just like Nick. Everyone in your fucking circle is so fucking catered to and spoiled. I got heat with the dog now, too. I got heat with the dog now, too.
The dog. Yeah, heat with everybody.
I'm going to fight the dog. I'm going to fight Nick. I'm going to kick sand in your daughter's eyes. I'm going to run you down verbally. That baby's no longer welcome here. Who else am I fighting with? Who else am I? Whatever. Disco Inferno could stick it too. Yeah, that's my whole.
Well, and you might just go ahead and just go ahead and add Billy to the list because you're on Billy's shit list too.
Billy's all right with me. Billy's okay in my book.
He is not okay with you. Not okay. I saw the text message, my friend. He said he's coming for both of us. He said that I'm digging the hole and that he's burying both of us in it. I don't know how you're getting buried with me, but we're getting buried together.
Hopefully I get buried on top of you. I can't bear that much weight, the dirt and you. Look. I may have planned a rib on him, but it never happened. How can he be mad at something that never happened? And
I don't know.
Here's the real question. I get that message, that fucking message. Let me pop it up because it's otherwise I'm not gonna remember how it actually went. But okay. He goes, understand you were going to try and rib me at dinner yesterday. Maybe not special guest referee, but a handicap match. AJ and Temples versus Fives. I like it. But I never ribbed him. It was just even if he showed up, I may have chickened out and not ribbed him. You know what I mean? So, to have this practical joke planned that I told so now...
Right, but it wasn't me who told him.
Listen, someone spilled the English beans on toast, and I think it was you, okay?
It was not me. It was not me. It was not me because you want to know... Look, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I knew if I said something to him, I was automatically assumed in this role. Because me and you are attached at the hip, that anything happens, it's no longer my fault or your fault, it's both of you. We're one. So if I would have said something...
You're getting the baby thrown out with the bathwater is what you're saying.
Right. So for me to say something would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I messaged him and asked him if it was Huss, your roommate.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling it was Huss. 100%. Because Huss, in his mind, knows I can get both of their asses kicked. Because he knows. He's not stupid.
I don't think...
That guy.
Yeah, but I don't... See, he said he didn't do it. Okay? And
I don't believe him.
And I'm not sure I believe him either. But I don't know who to believe. There's 4 of you motherfuckers. And
look, it ain't... I can tell you what. It ain't Marco. Because Marco... That's way too much effort would have been put in. We can't even get him to show up on a Sunday to record something.
Right. So it wasn't Marco. So it was either you or Adam or Earl. Okay? Now, I told all of you guys what I was going to do. I told Adam, I think, as we were headed over to Benihana, and I told Earl when we were at Benihana. And Earl had just met Billy. With Adam at the Hurricanes game the week before. I don't know if they traded numbers or not, if they traded social medias or not, if they've spoken since then or not. I have no idea. But I know that he's one of 4 people I told who also coincidentally now know Billy. So I'm going to have to ask him about that because if it's him.
I'm going to say it's not well, 2 things. One, I'm going to say it can't be Earl. The relationship's too new. And 2, if it was Earl, what the fuck are you going to do to Earl? He's 12 times your size.
It's true. He'll hit me with his NFC championship ring finger.
Knock you out. Yeah.
There'll be an indent on my forehead for years to come with his NFC championship ring. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping it's not Earl for Earl's sake. Because it's not because I don't want that relationship to deteriorate into I don't want to be Russ I can deal with. Earl, I'm going to feel like I'm going to have to start a ribbing war with him over this. And I don't know if he can handle it or if I can handle it because he can afford to do a lot of
right.
I mean, like a man that's made millions and millions of dollars in his career can afford to indulge in luxuries that would be like
and for those
crazy.
who don't know, because this is totally an insider conversation, but Earl played in the NFL
for 10 years. 10 years.
10 years in the NFL.
Started in the NFL for 10 years, not played in the NFL.
Played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
2 years ago, right? 2 years ago.
Yeah, his last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's not him because I'm just saying that war is one I can't afford because he'll one-up me and he's got the money to spend to really do it well. Yeah, it's either you or my roommate, and I'm not convinced
it's not me. It's not me. I know better because I know anything that you or I say for the last 2, 3, 4 months. It doesn't matter if you say it or I say it. It's automatically we're like grouped into this one group where Billy's like, I'm just gonna do one kick and knock you both out. I'm not that stupid.
That part I do agree with. The I'm not that stupid part I will disagree with.
Well, I don't know. I just know that it wasn't me, and I've got like 45 days to get in shape, and I'm looking forward to these sweet potato fries with cinnamon sugar that I'll be eating later tonight and marshmallow at Duckworth's Bar and Grill here in Charlotte.
Why don't you just get a salad with some chicken in it?
I mean, no. You don't even want to know what I ate today. I know we don't want to talk about food. We discussed this. We're going to skip talking about food, but let me just...
Well,
we drove to Charlotte.
I saw you eat candy on TikTok.
So the candy was last night. I filmed that last night. Well, the mints I filmed today.
Okay.
Today.
So
I did eat 2 mints. Yeah.
Yeah, 2. You ate that whole box. Stop it.
Well, listen though. So we're driving to Charlotte. It's a 4.5-hour drive. Kids got hungry. I grabbed them some Chick-fil-A, and I wanted some coffee, so I got some coffee. But then McDonald's was next door, so I just I went over and got a quarter pounder and a 10-piece nugget, 2 for $6.
Okay.
So
I want to hold on. Circle back to Nick for a second. I understand you want to talk about this food thing, but why is he so mad at me? Does he listen to the podcast or something? Or are you stirring shit?
No. He woke up and so he was sleeping in the car. He didn't want to come on this trip. But let me tell you about today. This is very odd. So he wakes up from his nap and he's grumpy. And he wants to fight me and tells me he wants to put the gloves on and fight me. And I don't even remember what I said. I was on the phone. And
does he not understand? What happened is you have never introduced him to grown man strength.
Right. I don't even know what I said. And he said, he turned from wanting to fight me to wanting to fight you. Out of nowhere. Yeah.
He must listen to the podcast or something.
He has it downloaded. I know he does. So. Now, I will say, I just got him back on a really good rib. So he's being a total asshole all day, and we're here at my parents' house, and my dad has to go help my cousin move some beds, and my dad wanted me to go, but I'm doing the podcast. So Nick comes over just now while we're in the podcast, and he sign languages to me that my dad needs me, and I said, you go with him. I pointed. Well, my dad grabs him and throws him in the car, and he's like, come help me. As they're pulling out, Nick's flicking me off because I made him go. He just texted me and said, I hate you for this. And I said, well, welcome to real life. That's it.
Listen, if you could actually get really pissed off at him and grab him like you're about to tear him in half and put a little fear back into him, it would probably benefit your last 2 years with him because he's acting like a prince in a fucking castle, dude.
He is.
I mean, you gotta do something. You gotta put some fear into him that he can't just mouth off and flip you off and demand fucking Chick-fil-A whenever he wants.
Right.
I mean,
here's the issue. Like we like fought one time. This was maybe a year or so ago, and he got me in a front a front choke. I could not breathe. I had to tap out. I couldn't get out of it.
And ever since then, he's been fucking feeling that, hasn't he?
Right. He brings it up all the time. He's like, remember when I choked you out? And I'm not going to lie, he did. We were going. Like, I thought I had him. I made a wrong move. He grabbed me, and he was, like, on the bottom. And he grabbed me. I could not breathe. I couldn't get out of it. He has, like, some strength. I'm not going to lie.
But
But I'm also the most out of shape ever. So
this is fun.
It's not like
you gotta right the ship. You gotta right the ship because now
I got to get back in shape. And before Billy, I got to get him in the ring.
He thinks he's the fucking man of the house or something. You know?
Right.
He's like trying to cuck you. You got to fucking do something, man. This is.
I got to get back in shape.
This is not
acceptable. I need a rematch.
Listen.
I need a rematch.
I want to fight your kid, but you need to fight your kid more. I mean,
yeah.
Like you know, in the Water Boy, Coach Klein's got to get his manhood back here. I mean, you can't let that choke out stand. He's in the driver's seat right now, and he's letting you know it, and you're not even doing anything about it.
Oh, he's so mad. He just texted me. So we have to go. He wrote. So we have to go pick up a mattress. And oh, look at this! Wow, he's taking shots. He said we have to go pick up a mattress. He wrote, first of all, he wrote dog, DAWG. You're 40 doing a He wrote dog, you're 40 doing a podcast. And you talking about real world?
I got nothing, man. You got to handle this.
Well, you know, I told him like we were coming here. He was like, oh, I don't want to go out. And I was like, you know, it's too bad. Like I already bought tickets for we were going to go to the theme park and this and that.
I'm so happy you canceled his trip to California.
Yo, that's what he's all mad about.
I'm so happy you just squarely stuck it in his ass.
Yeah. He said, and I don't want to drive with Grandpa because my dad's an awful driver. We know that. But that's, you know what? That's part of it. He deserves that.
Yeah. Just reply, sucks to be you.
I am. Sucks to be you. Sucks to suck, bro.
Oh.
That was Wayne Van Dyke's line.
Yeah,
sucks
I remember
to suck,
that,
bro. Wayne, and let me tell you, before there was the Nick and Ben feud, there was the Nick and Wayne Van Dyke feud. Wayne Van Dyke was a wrestler.
Yeah, but Wayne died like 5 years ago?
Right, but super.
So how old was Nick?
Right, he
11?
So when we first met Wayne, when Nick and Lex was a little. They first met him. For some reason, like Wayne was a wrestler. He was he's passed away 5 years ago, but he became like a good friend, and we were at show, and I don't even know what happened. They liked him, and Lex would always say Wayne was her favorite wrestler. And I was like, "Are you even watching the match? He's horrible." Like, because he was a gimmick, right? Yeah. So he was just a gimmick.
He was like, he did this thing where he had a circus strongman outfit on, and right. he was a guy that couldn't put on weight. So he was I wouldn't say scrawny, but he was really lean, and he would play like he was a strong man, like he was super strong, and yeah, it was funny, but it's a one trick kind of pony.
But he was funny. He was great.
He understood. He could entertain. Right. He was like you, not more sizzle than steak.
right, exactly, right. But he knew I loved working Wayne. The funny thing is I'm glad we're getting into this story because this is funny stories around here, but it goes back to Nick in a second. First time I ever met Wayne, it was at a wrestling show in like Coral Springs, and they're like, "Hey, you're working a tag match and you're going against," I don't remember who it was, and this kid Wayne, and I said, "Okay," and they go, you got to put Wayne over," and I said, "Why do I got to put this kid? Why does he have to beat me? Like, can he beat the other guy, or why am I not beating him? It's like his first match." And they're like, "He sold 50 tickets." I'm like, "What?"
One of these
They're
guys.
like, "Wayne sold 50 tickets. It's his first match. You got to put him over." So I said, "All right, fine." We do the match. I mean, the 50 people screaming for this kid. He goes over 1, 2, 3. Oh, place goes nuts. I mean, for the next fucking 5 years till the day he died, he would always say, "Hey, remember that time I beat you?" I was like, "Yeah, shut the fuck! I thought you were real." He went on and on. we were in Orlando. We were in a fucking rabbit just ran at me. We're in Orlando at WrestleMania weekend, and I was doing a show, and he's introducing people to me and going, hey, this is Anthony. I beat him my first match. I'm like, why are you telling everybody that? And he went through the entire locker room.
What a great rib! What a great
entire night, letting everybody know. Like 7 years ago, I pinned him in the ring. By the way, clean. I was like, it's not even real. He was telling everybody. So when I met his girlfriend at the time, he told her, introduced me, and said I beat him in my first match. Like, he was so proud of this, but just not proud of the actual win. He just loved to fucking piss me off and rib me.
I love a rib that just goes on and on for years and years.
Right, always. So,
especially when every time it bugs you, like
because he knew that it would piss me off. But he had two ribs. The other rib Wayne Van Dyke would do is he was notorious for, and this is where it comes into him and Nick getting into it. There was a guy around wrestling. He still wrestles, still runs a promotion. J-Dog. J-Dog was the son of Rusty Brooks, who is my trainer, who just recently passed away. I've known J-Dog for 20 years. So the joke used to be, you would tell, like, it was a joke amongst a couple of us, Bobby Rogers, me, a couple of just not many guys would know the joke, but the joke would be like, you would tell somebody, be like talking about something and be like, you know them? And they'd be like, who? And you'd go, J-Dog. That was always the joke. The rib would be, you'd get somebody, string them along in a story, and then they said, who are you talking about? Or who? You would go, J-Dog. That was the joke, right?
I've seen you guys do that on Facebook sometimes, where you're anything, where you or like like someone wanting to know who did something or blame someone for something. It's always someone comes on and goes J-Dog, and it's one of you guys. I think I've also seen Snake Jeff do it, but I think he wasn't. He just saw you guys doing it. He was just trying to be part of the cool kids.
Now the funny thing is J-Dog never knew the joke.
Right.
Like, he didn't know the joke. So Wayne was in on this joke, and Wayne would get me all the time. He would call, I would answer and be like, hey, he'd be like, did you just hear that? I said, hear what? He goes, man, there was a show in Tampa last night. I cannot believe who went over. And I'm like, who? He'd be like, J-Dog, and he would hang up. Like, there was no conversation. Like, but he would get me like once a month like clockwork. Well,
great. That's great.
We were like, one time we were at a show and I had my kids with me, and they loved Wayne. First time Lex met Wayne, she was like, thought he was the best. Wayne signed an autographed picture and gave it to Lex. I got goosebumps talking about it. I still have the picture, and it says, to Lex, Wayne Van Dyke. And Lex was maybe like 4 years old. Like, she just thought Wayne was the best. Like, I don't even know why.
Was that at a show down here? Like one of those,
yes.
Like one of those, like, parking lot shows or something, maybe?
No, it was like CCW or something like that. This fucking guy's flying a plane over my head. Come on, pal. We're doing a podcast here. You hear this shit?
Yeah.
Got a banner from alcohol store.
I feel like I'm podcasting with Blake.
Oh, walking down A1A?
Yeah.
So anyway, that was like Lex's favorite wrestler. But so a couple shows came in, and like my son was young at the time, but he was in on the J-Dog joke because it was funny that this little kid knew who J-Dog was and knew that the J-Dog, he knew the rib. Like, he knew the rib. So we're at a show, and he goes up to Wayne because they always played around with Wayne, and he goes up to Wayne and he says something, blah, 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 and Wayne's like, who? And Nick goes, J-Dog. And we all lost it. He's like, holy shit, how did he get me with that? He's like, how does he even know it? I was like, he's smart to it. So from that moment on, him and Nick were in the J-Dog feud. He would call and be like, hey, where's Nick? And I'd be like, he's right here. And then Nick's a kid. And he would like try to get Nick, and Nick would be like too smart to it and be like, no, you're going to try to get me with the J-Dog joke. I may be 7, but I'm not stupid. Like, and he would get him. They would go back and forth. But like a couple times he would get Nick. He would get me. Nick would get him. I had a couple times Nick's like, can I call Wayne? And he would call, and Wayne would answer. and he would be like, "Who is this?" And Nick would, because it's the kid on the phone, and he'd be like, "J-Dog," and hang up. And Wayne's like, called back and be like, "You motherfuckers!" But they had this like feud going on. As Nick got older, like the feud got a little bit more like aggressive and intense. It went from J-Dog to like Nick just shitting on him and being like, "You're a horrible wrestler," and Wayne being like, "You're a horrible child." So like it like progressed. But yeah, they had, that was like the original feud was Nick and Wayne, and then and Lex loved him, so Lex was always taking Wayne's side, not Nick's.
Right.
Not that she would take Nick's side now; she still doesn't. But yeah, that was the original feud with was Nick and Wayne, and now you're feuding with him.
Wayne,
this is not good.
Wayne, I remember Wayne was just the fucking instigator of instigators when we were doing one of the convention shows, and it was the night that Jackie got really drunk, and I guess he was out with Wayne and Hurricane.
I was there.
Were you there for it?
I was there. Yeah.
And just fucking, just was getting Jackie so worked
under
up.
Jackie's skin. Yes, he got under Jackie's skin.
That I guess Jackie wanted to fight Wayne, and I think Hurricane kind of took Wayne's side a little bit. Or
so here's what happened.
Okay.
So he was getting under his skin.
Because I walked up on this thing when you guys were walking through the hallway.
I remember that. Yes, in the hallway. So
before you get into the hotel. Yeah.
He was getting under his skin, and Jackie was not taking it well. And Jackie, instead of Jackie playing along, or Jackie was like telling him, "You're annoying me," and he was kind of shitting on Wayne a little bit. Like he was being like an asshole. Like he wasn't playing around. But Wayne knew that he was getting under his skin, so he just kept going. It was intentional.
Plus, it's popping the boys. Probably everyone's probably laughing at it.
Popping me to no end. I was dying because I knew what was going on, and Jackie was just, he was livid. So we're walking down the hallway. We were going to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's where we were going.
Right.
Remember that? Right.
Like there was a production going on in one of the ballrooms.
But it was in like another building or something. Right. Yeah. So that's where we were walking. It was me, Wayne, Jackie, Jess, Hurricane's wife, and I think Devlin was there. Maybe. Remember Devlin?
Yeah.
So I think it was us. So if I remember, but I know Hurricane. So eventually, Jackie turns around and everybody stops, and Jackie goes after Wayne, like physical altercation, because he cannot take it anymore. That Wayne is just. But as he's going after him, instead of Wayne trying to fight back, Wayne is still going, like calling him like drunk and just giving it to him. Still, as Jackie's trying to fight him. So Hurricane gets in the middle. And Hurricane is like trying to like get in the middle of them, and so we don't have a fight, obviously. Right. But Hurricane stops.
He knows Jackie is drunk off his ass, and he knows drunk Jackie for years and years.
Right. Well, eventually, Hurricane turns around, but Jackie pushes like Hurricane, like to get like he was trying to get Hurricane out of the way, and Shane lost it and turned around, and it went from this fight between Wayne and Jackie to Shane, Hurricane, and Jackie, because Hurricane turned around. It was like they were about to go at it, and like Hurricane's wife got. I stepped in. You came down the hall as it was happening.
Yeah, I walked up right in that moment. Yeah,
right, and we all kind of stepped in and broke them up, and that's the moment when. So after that had happened. And everybody was kind of. That's when Hurricane's wife turned to me. In that moment is when she said that during that time period, and said to me, "Can you come to my kid's birthday party to dress as Super Mario?" And I was like, "What is going on here? Like, we've got an altercation."
I didn't realize
she's asking me to.
That was when it was. Oh my god,
that was the moment. And so then I turned my attention to her because I was like, "What did you just say?" And she's like. My kid loves Super Mario, and I think you do such a great Super Mario. Like, maybe you can come to the house and do a birthday party. And me thinking, Shane's got to have money. I'm like, yeah, for sure. You pay me, I'll come be Super Mario at the But the altercation's still going on. And she's over here trying to sell me to be Super Mario at the birthday party.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. So
Yeah.
so that kind of gets broken up, and
Right.
I just remember then. I don't know if we stayed with Hurricane at that point, or if I was with Lou, and I don't remember who else. But
We went to the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, you went. So after that, I
Yeah.
think we bumped into you guys by the pool at the hotel,
Right.
Because you guys were staying at the other hotel, which wasn't on site, and that was the funner group. And we bump into Hurricane after. So he's all upset because Jackie has like unfriended him on Facebook and yada yada. And we both
like in the moment he did it. Yeah, like.
And both Lou and I are like, oh, that's just Jackie. That's drunk Jackie.
Right.
That has who hasn't that happened to at least once? But he was all upset. He was like, and we're like, don't worry about it. By the morning, everything will be good again.
But I remember Hurricane because you guys were like saying I was there because you were telling him like, oh, that's normal Jackie. But I remember him saying, didn't he say that it never happened to him before? This is the first time that Jackie ever did that to him.
Yeah,
that's why he didn't. Yeah. Right. Like it was his first. That was his first run-in with a Jackie unfriend, which we'd all had been through that. Like, I mean, you probably more than everybody. I know he unfriended me 4 times. Well, I mean, I just got the friend request back before he passed away. Well, I was right back in.
I knew for 20 years. Luckily, a lot of that was before social media. If we had social media, for sure, I'd have set the land, sea, and air records for it. But yes, yeah, I think Shane had been in the deep end of the drunk Jackie pool, but not on the receiving end of it. You know, there's the spectator end of it. And then there's the receiving end of it. And when Jackie gets drunk, I'd say 8 times out of 10, which is also 4 times out of 5, he will target someone, and that person's going to be feeling his drunken wrath. Sometimes, and what's funny is, he's fun, but most of the time he gets really nasty. So
it got to the point. I hate laughing about it, but towards the end, it got to the point though. When it was drunk Jackie, like I think we would all like be like, oh, who is it today? Like I would literally sit there and be like, please, I don't have the energy tonight to deal with this. Please do not be me today. Like I don't want to be that guy. Like I don't want to be it's got to be Blake's turn or Ben's turn or Marco's or Drew's. But it was never Drew's turn. He never went after Drew for some reason. But I was like, just not today. And then sure enough, the phone would ring, and when the phone rang and it was 2 a.m. It was 2 things. He was either coming after you or he was going after one of the other guys
and complaining
to tell me. Right. Yeah. So you had 2 choices, and if you didn't answer the phone, he would have kept calling. So you have to answer the phone.
There was a lot of when your radar would go off that he was going to have like a 4-day drinking spree. Like you had to figure out what times you could actually convincingly lie that either you lost your phone or you lost your charger or you forgot to turn the ringer back on, something, to avoid at least one set of phone calls. Yeah.
Good times though. Good times.
Really good times.
They were good times. They were.
Well,
I don't know. Hello?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Or I cut out or something?
No. So what else you got for me today? I know I'm gonna watch the Dark Side of the Ring tonight.
Are you?
Yeah, I have to. It's about Chris. I mean, Jackie and I knew Chris really fucking well. Jackie was like his best friend, and I'd stayed at Chris's place once or twice, and Chris had stayed at my place once or twice when he was down here. I saw a lot, not as much as Jackie did, but I saw a lot of that like downward, I don't know what the right word is, where, he started to mentally kind of unfurl, and get worse and worse. I remember all of that stuff. But I also remember all the fucking fun times we had before that when he didn't have those problems. And, I want to see. I'm looking for his episode, not to hear the like dark side stuff of it, but to see all the friends that he had and peers in the business talk highly of him, because I know it's gonna be a love fest.
Right.
You know, and I feel like it. I'm excited to see him get a little bit of exposure to a new generation of wrestling fans, and also, just get some acknowledgement and some, what they call it these days, get his flowers or whatever they call it. So I'm excited for that, and I'm still kind of hungover from last night's wrestling as well.
Right, yeah, for sure. We talk about that, but with the Canyon thing, like I think that guy had such a good character, and WWE really dropped the ball, like completely dropped the ball on him.
Yeah,
but which is they do it to a lot of guys, I guess. But
yeah, they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Well, it's all, I don't want to get too much into that stuff. I did some of that last night on Facebook, but I do really feel like almost to the moment we could point to, or at least Jackie and I felt like we could point to the chair shots he took from the Undertaker. The unprotected chair shots he took from the Undertaker to the head, as something that like just flipped the switch in him, did something to his brain.
Right. Yeah. No, that's just sad, but yeah, it should be a good episode for sure. It's funny, the Dark Side of the Ring. I won't tell you who told me this story on the air, just to protect people, but I was talking to someone who had a Ric Flair story. Personal story. After watching the Dark Side of the Ring, they were like, yeah, we were at some thing and there was some drinks, and once he got drunk, they're like, he literally took his clothes off, like, immediately. I was like, that's so fucking weird. Like, why would anyone do that? Which makes me, think like, God, what a weird human being.
I've been to some bars where he got rowdy, but I haven't. But in like the late 90s, early 2000s, the only thing I know is that one time I didn't go to the bar, and someone else told me, yeah, Flair took his fucking dick out. But he was like dressed, like he just, like someone said something, like and he had like the only way to prove differently was to pull his dick out, kind of deals. So it wasn't like he was doing helicopters or anything like what they were talking about on.
Yeah, just weird. That's just
yeah.
Weird shit. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Wrestling's a very weird industry. It was a lot more weird before than it is now. Although there is some weird shit that still happens now, but
but compared to back in the day, right. I'm not even talking the 70s and 80s, but man, the late 90s and early 2000s when I was
90s probably,
but I'm saying the late 90s when I was around it. I mean, I saw all the shit they talk about, and all the guys with, like I said, I didn't know about the whatever the drug, the H-bomb drug, but Halcyon was it? But I knew about GHB. All those guys had that, and
I remember seeing like in
forget about that. My friend went and got one of the, I don't want to say the guy's name, but one of the dudes free CW, fucking 8-ball. When he asked if we could get him an 8-ball when we were all hanging out back behind the Fort Lauderdale War Memorial for one of the shows.
Yeah, I've seen that at the War Memorial too. The exact thing. Yeah. But I've seen guys drinking, I thought it was a jug of water, and they're like, no, it's GHB, and I'm like, oh my God, it's a whole jug of it. Like,
no,
these people are insane.
They dilute it into a gallon.
I had no idea. I was like, I was young. I had no clue what was going on.
The cap that comes on the GHB, they pour some into the cap, and then they'll either shoot it straight or they'll dilute it into like a gallon of water or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, holy shit.
I know that was one of the times that it may have even been the same time that my friend went and got one of the dudes an 8-ball. Was the same night, I think it was the same night, was when Sonny and, man, what's his name? Her husband.
Candido,
yeah, that's, showed up to the arena fucked up, like completely pilled up. And they like signed some autographs. I have a photo with her. You can tell she's all fucked up in it. And And they walked in the building, and literally, like, fucking 10 minutes later, they left. Like, they were, like, someone, like Paul or someone saw them and said, go home.
Right, get out.
You can't
right.
even be here.
Right. Yeah.
They were limp noodles, like one of those those things you blow up in front of a car dealership, just wiggling and fucking, they were a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild world, man. It's amazing that some of those guys didn't die like a lot sooner.
Some of them did.
And I don't know if you heard this, and then we'll talk about it on the podcast, and it's probably going to be completely weird and creepy and disgusting. But I watched a video of Honky Tonk Man talking about why Rick Rude committed suicide. Have you heard this story?
I think did you send that to the group?
I think I did.
Because I tried to play it, and like it was like someone filmed a laptop with their cell phone, and the audio, I couldn't hear it. So I was like, after 2 seconds, like, well, whatever he said, I can't hear it, so I'm not even gonna bother.
So Honky Tonk said that Rick Rude took a whole bunch of Viagra, but he was injecting it into his dick, and he got an infection, and the infection was so bad they had to cut his balls and dick off. Like, he had to have it removed because the infection was so bad, and he went home and killed himself after. I was like, what the fuck? Or before, maybe they were gonna do it. I was like, that's what he says in the video.
How would he even know that? Like, of all the people, for him to be the only one telling that story, like, is that the man he's confiding in?
Right.
I don't know. I don't buy it. I
was just like, holy shit.
First of all, I don't buy anyone fucking injecting Viagra into their dick.
And wrestling is such a bunch of liars and
they're all liars.
Such a weird world, right?
He probably had heat with him, and fucking he could now bury the guy because he's dead. In a way that was totally like trying to emasculate and humiliate him,
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because and it's funny, I heard the story, I was like, whatever, but you talk about how, like, all this bad stuff that happened in wrestling this week with the Dark Side of the Ring last week, and then you talk about the first 30 minutes of AEW last night. I don't even care about the rest of the show. The first 30 minutes, I want to watch it again because I
have plans to watch it before the Dark Side. I'm going to watch that match again. It's a full 30-minute match that went to distance, and it might be, it's the best match either of them has had in a while.
Yeah.
It was
it was Kenny Omega.
Like you said, it was a lot less flippy doos, and it was Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson. It was a lot less flippy doos, and it was hard hit, like really hard hitting match, man.
Yeah, it was.
It told a great story. I'm still like the false finishes and the kickouts on these devastating maneuvers sometimes annoys me, but I guess when you're telling a story like that, you're gonna, it's kind of acceptable.
Well, so the match, like, it's just for anybody that's a wrestling fan. I felt like AEW last night was in Brooklyn, New York, at the Arthur Ashe Stadium, which never had wrestling before, tennis arena. From the minute they announced the two guys, they both came out and they both stood in the ring, and the crowd went ape shit. You got Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega, two of the best in the world, and it's never happened on a big stage like this. I don't even know if they ever wrestled each other in the Indies. I have no idea.
They worked in like Ring of Honor or somewhere like that.
Okay. So, this is a big deal, and
maybe Dragon's Gate or something.
I watched the beginning again, just the first few minutes, and the crowd was on their feet. They hadn't even touched each other yet.
Yeah.
And Bryan is like this huge smile on his face, and he's looking around, and Omega has no emotion, no reaction, and it's the good guy, bad guy, and the camera goes to Bryan, he's smiling. Omega, he's not smiling. Back to Bryan, he's smiling. Back to Omega, and Omega goes, I don't give a shit. That's exactly what he said. And I was like, oh my God, this is so, the place is standing, 21,000 people, and then they locked up, and the place went even bonkers. Like the roof blew off the building
Yeah.
from them locking up, and I don't think we've felt anything like that in wrestling in a really, really, really long time. As a
No,
fan,
no. This, dude, this night had us excited for a week. Like,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I was telling you yesterday, I
Yeah.
kept checking the clock, and it was like being at school, and
Right.
like you can't believe how slow time's going. You keep looking at it, it's got to be like later than that. It's got to be later
Right,
than that.
right.
Because it's like you got 4 hours to go. You think 2 hours have passed. You look at the clock, and only 15 minutes have gone by, and you're just dying to get to 8 o'clock to watch this fucking show. Yeah, it was a torturous day in anticipation
Right.
for this. Yeah, you showed the picture of the line to get into the building was crazy.
Right.
Like
And it was just
hour and a
right. It
half
was
before the show
intense.
started.
Right. Yeah. And it was the lockup. I watched that part again today twice, just that part, because somebody had put a clip of it up, and I was like, wow, like just that's. I mean,
It's like
that's insane. Like
it's like a
I can.
it's like a tea kettle building up pressure until the lockup when it blows. Yeah.
Right. And then the last like maybe 6 minutes of the match, I mean, they beat the shit out of each other, and it was just hard hitting. It was like like it was just intense down to the end.
Omega was way less cartoony. He did way less of like the
Yes,
fucking
yes,
silly faces and the weird
right.
gestures and movements. It was back to him being like in New Japan, fucking wrestling, fighting.
But I will tell you though, I was always on the fence about him for a long time when he was in Japan, because he was in Japan. He never did anything in America that was major. But now, like he is definitely probably top three current, not all time current. I mean, he's got to be up there right now with. I don't even know who else would be up there. I guess Brian looked pretty good last night, but I mean, Roman Reigns. I hate WWE, but he's doing a great job in his role right now. I mean, and Roman
could never work. He could never work at that level though.
No, but what he's doing in that role is fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. But I mean, he's got to be the best. He's got to be the best right now.
Well, he was ranked number 1 in the magazine, right, this year.
Right. He was, and Roman Reigns was too.
Yeah.
But I see it. He's that good. He's that fucking good.
I'll say on the rest of that card, I think the only match I didn't enjoy was the Cody match. I felt like it could have been something special if they just did a straightforward match. I feel like they way overbooked that with fucking nonsense, like his wife jumping in the ring.
Yeah,
that
no need for her to be in there.
Nothing.
No need. Zero need.
Even Arn doing his thing was not really,
unless Arn's turning heel.
And Arn fucking fell on his ass and made a fool of himself. Anyways, he
I think Arn's turning heel
the spot anyways.
Right.
I think Cody's turning heel. I think maybe he corrupted him with the black stuff he spit in his face or something. Did some dark magic stuff on him.
Maybe he'll turn to Stardust.
I mean the match itself was pretty good, but Cody, I want to like him. I kind of do like him, but I feel like every time he does a match, it's a little too much. Like if you just went a little more bare bones and told just a straightforward story without all these like side things going on, that it would be better. It would be better. But like Sting, I didn't know a 62-year-old man could wrestle like that or look like that. I made a joke last night, but I mean, like, he looked to be in his 50s, not his 60s. I mean, some guys in their 50s.
I honestly, I can't.
He may have looked even like he was 48, which people want to laugh at, but 62, man, I can't even imagine.
No, but what Sting did last night, as I'm watching, I'm thinking, in the physical shape I am in today, I can't do that. But if I work my ass off for a year, I still don't think I can do that.
Right.
He is, he was moving.
Yeah. And it's just brilliant that they really use him sparingly, And I mean, he's on TV every week, but he only wrestles really infrequently. And it's been he hasn't had a singles match, has he? Did he have one on
I don't
TV?
remember.
I think he may have only had tag matches. But that's the way to protect him. I mean, everyone else, does the
Right.
heavy lifting. He comes in and does a few exciting things that Sting for, and everyone's happy. But he did. He went.
Right.
But saying that, he went above and beyond. In this match of anything I
Yeah.
expected from him. I was like, if he'd given us a third of that or a quarter of that, we would have been happy. We would have been happy,
Right.
because
He was moving.
there's no expectations. He's 62 years old. I mean,
Right.
I just
No, he was moving, man.
I like picturing him and Darby together all day.
Just hanging out.
Just hanging out, talking about life. 62-year-old man and probably a 26-year-old man. Talking about life. Driving, like, let's say, from town to town in a car together, hitting the drive-throughs and the gyms, maybe even doing each other's makeup.
Just hanging out,
Yeah.
like almost like he's teaching his son how to
Grandson.
Yeah, grandson, true. But no, it was good. The whole show was good. It was I do feel like it had a different vibe to it, compared to like a normal AEW show. But I think it had to have that. It had to have a different vibe. So I'm okay with it. But I enjoyed it.
I think it was way more just straight big money wrestling matches.
Right.
There wasn't as much like other shenanigans,
Yeah, it wasn't.
And you could feel it that I think one of the matches they overlap, like they cut someone's entrance a little bit short to get the other entrance going because they needed to make up any time they could. Because all these matches were pretty important, and they wanted to give them the time they needed.
Yeah, no, it was fine. It was a fine show. And I did see some highlights for Fridays, and the crowd singing Jericho's theme is it's pretty crazy. I don't know if you saw. I don't think I sent it to you. The tweet of the little boy. His dad's filming him. The kid has no idea he's being filmed, and the kid is singing Jericho's entrance from because they taped obviously last night.
Yeah.
Fridays last night, and he's singing Jericho's song, and the dad said 2 years of COVID and lockdowns and not being able to see live wrestling, and this is our first time in almost 2 years, and the kid is just like, what have I become? He's singing, and the kid's like 8 years old, and that's what wrestling's about. Like, I don't feel like WWE has that anymore.
No, they're
like, I just don't see that.
They're so like out of touch with the actual product. They're like up in the offices more cutting licensing deals and
right
and merchandise, leasing out things to licensees. I just feel like that everything's a concern way beyond the wrestling.
Right,
and the wrestling,
the actual wrestling
is like the actual wrestling and putting together matches and creating good storylines and characters is like the 10th priority to them, which is fucked up. If I don't know how you run the ship like that. It's so upside down. But what are you gonna do? I will say this. I do feel like Vince feels them nipping at his heels and is at least trying to do some creative stuff. But I feel like
I mean, I'm interested in. I do have a hard time watching Friday nights. I will say that.
Yeah,
I'll admit that. I do.
It's just hard when you got a ship that big moving in a direction. It's really hard to do a hard right. It's such a gradual turn when you're driving a boat that big. As AEW can do these things, and their reactions and adjustments to it are so slow because it's such a machine.
Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta go now. I got 54 minutes in here. I gotta start thinking about dinner, pal.
I know. I will. At least the dog got his food. That's all that matters.
That's what's important. And Nick is still helping my dad, which is even better. It's been like an hour.
Good. Yeah. Fuck him. You know what? I hope he hurts his fucking
his toe.
Pinky toe fucking doing this. He deserves it.
I think he's wearing slides too. That's the best part.
Oh, of course he is. All right, bud. All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, goodbye.